140 points to the Sacramento Kings. Coming into the bubble with playoff expectations and all the hype around Zion and catching up. How in the world are you this porous defensively to give Bogdanovic 35 points on 6 threes? De'Aaron Fox, 30 points. Zion not doing enough defensively, like here when he totally sells out for the ball. Being in the gap's a good thing, but you got to be able to also get back out and recover to a shooter. Gave up 16 threes. What is wrong with the Pelicans defense? How did they have such an epic failure against the Sacramento Kings today? Let's dive deep into the film and see what exactly went wrong. First and foremost, communication was non-existent, terrible. Less than 90 seconds even into this game, you see De'Aaron Fox coming right down the court, and nobody's even taking the ball. Finally, Zion ends up taking him, which forces Jrue Holiday to have a long rotation of belly, fly him off, but after one dribble, got the wide open three. Again, 16 of 33 from three. Here we're going to see on the weak side, if you watch closely, De'Aaron Fox is going to turn back around and set a little pin down. And Lonzo Ball is going to switch onto the guy coming off the pin down. Problem is, he didn't communicate that in any way to Frank Jackson, who now you see is going to be totally behind on the switch as two guys go with Bogdanovic. 2 on here leads to Fox getting the slip and the N1 off the glass. Certainly didn't help that they had 17 turnovers either. But watch again. Look how much this just looks kind of like a pickup game. How slow they are getting matched up in transition as Lonzo's running around trying to find somebody to guard. Finally, Zion ends up switched on to Bogdanovic. Not great. But they give De'Aaron Fox the ball, and now we're going to switch this again, and Zion gives him way too much of a cushion to get to his mid-range again. This one they didn't even score on, but I just put this one on to show you. Look how much time comes off. There's a good 7 seconds off the shot clock. We're at 17, and Corey Joseph is dribbling right at the top with nobody guarding him. I'll let you watch this again. Corey Joseph, thankfully for the Pelicans, didn't even realize, or he probably would have walked right into a wide-open three. But watch finally, with like 18 on the shot clock, Melly is going to tell Zion, hey, I already got this dude, you go guard somebody else. And Zion's going to bounce around for a little bit, even though he should probably be over here, and JJ should be taking Joseph. Finally, with 16 on the shot clock, Zion's going to be guarding Corey Joseph. And they didn't score there. That's how bad the defense was today. Here, Bogdanovic, who had 35 points on the game, was already about like 30 at this point, is going to come off a staggered screen. JJ is going to do something pretty good here, which is hedge on the screen. The problem? Nobody kept coming, and Jrue Holiday, for some reason, just expected JJ to switch without seemingly saying anything. He was unguarded here. Seriously, the reason this looks better even to the casual eye is because Lonzo Ball's guarding a non-shooter in Fox, and thankfully is going to totally sell out and rotate and try to contest the shot. But how in the world do you let the guy that ended up having 35 points come off a stagger totally unguarded? And again, he missed. They could have had 150, 160. Finally, we're paying Bogdanovic a little more attention. But again, now this time, Brandon Ingram and JJ are going to fail to communicate for way too long. And 2 are going to stay with him, leaving Corey Joseph a pretty uncontested 3. This is after a make. Down 12, still hanging alive, 38 seconds left in the third quarter. You know teams like to go 2 for 1 here. Okay? Alex Len's in the game at the 5. Not a shooter, really. So Zion right here should basically be at least at the 3-point line. Everybody should be back protecting the paint, building a wall against Fox. Instead, they're going to leave Frank Jackson on an island, trying to guard him one-on-one, and he ends up getting 2 free throws because Zion's not where he's supposed to be, Josh Hart's not where he's supposed to be, nobody's back here protecting the paint after a made basket with Alex Len in the game. That's just embarrassing defense. You want to see embarrassing too? Zion, come on, you got to fight. As they stagger and then pin for belly. Look how disconnected he is from him, and then how long he sticks on the screen, finally getting through after 5 minutes. It's too late. This is the very next play. Check the time. The next play in the game, they had just run this. The exact same thing's going to happen, and Zion still has no awareness. And Belly's going to come off clean and get a pretty open look. Again, he missed it. But on this one, Harrison Barnes is just going to, quite frankly, want it more than Brandon Ingram and create a kick-out wide-open three for Fox. Stupid and soft gets you beat, Jeff Van Gundy once said. This one's just plain stupid. Again, not a great shooter, especially from three. You cannot give him a 3-shot foul at the end of the shot clock on a step back off the dribble. Stupid gets you beat. Talk about pick and roll defense now. In the NBA, help comes from the weak side on pick and rolls. So when this pick and roll is ultimately going to his right, that means the guys who were initially in the paint here, these two guys, they came in a little bit when it was going to his left. But when it's going to his right, now the help has to come from Melli. He's supposed to be the tag guy on Alex Len. He has no clue. No idea. How about Lonzo Ball on the weak side here? No idea. Way too late. Here, thankfully, J.J. Redick at least is going to come in, which is nice. But at some point, you got to get back out. He tags, but now Zion's okay. He's here. Sprint out. Or maybe Josh Hart even could have some awareness. When J.J. goes in, you got to split the difference between these two guys. Play in the middle so that he could rotate to the first pass, and then J.J. could X to the second guy, which it looks like J.J. is expecting to do. Instead, nobody. One of, again, 16 made threes for the Kings. Speaking of J.J. Redick, not the best defender in the world traditionally, but he's capable of better than this. I don't know what this is. Turning around, running the wrong way. Looks like he didn't want to guard the ball. Or this, J.J. Come on. Again, decent job tagging. Well, you got to come in and take away the lob. But after you do this, you got to be ready to sprint out. That's nobody else's job right here. That's your job still to get out to the shooter. And again, another miss. Seriously, they could have had 160. Alright, Holmes, again, lob guy. Not much of a post player. So Lonzo gets buried pretty deep here. But you know what? I would live with Holmes shooting a little jump hook in the post. That's not really his game. So I don't know if Brandon Ingram has to totally sell out and come double him here. But since he does, again, JJ's job now should be to split the difference between these two and be ready to rotate, which he finally does way too late. And Harrison Barnes has a wide open corner three. Overall, the Pelicans just were not into the man. They were not touching anybody nearly enough. The point of switching this action is for Frank Jackson to be able to get into Corey Joseph, get into his body. That's way too soft. They were able to get dribble penetration all day long, again, on the pick and roll, not into De'Aaron Fox's body. Losing contact with him. They were picked apart on pick and rolls. Look here, they were giving Fox a cushion, but you can't go under your own man here in Jackson Hayes in transition. Give Fox a little 6-foot pull-up. They played him way too soft. Brandon Ingram, Garden Belly. Soft. Favors if you're switching. How about contest a shot a little better than that? Give him a strong right-handed layup. Bazemore, everybody knows, is a lefty. Zion's going to switch on to him, but be so far off, he's able to cross and get to the basket for a layup. Again, look at the cushion they continually gave guys. I understand the game plan is they're not much of a shooter, but if you give this much cushion, that's way too easy in the NBA. Anybody can make those shots. Brandon Ingram, let's talk about him for a second. Again, pick and rolls going towards the right, so the weak side guy is him right now. He should be on the help line in the middle of the paint. He's not doing his job, but he gets lucky. Alex Len doesn't roll off this screen. But then, Fox is going to end up attacking the baseline. Now Alex Len's going to roll, and Ingram still isn't in the paint. Still isn't aware. Look at JJ even here is telling Ingram, That's your job. Go get it. Too late. Dunk. Guarding Harrison Barnes here in the corner. Look how easy this is for Harrison Barnes to come off this stagger for a three. No contact, no toughness. Look at this. Bully ball. You're allowed an arm bar. One arm to resist. That's no resistance. Brandon Ingram is an all-star level scorer, but if you want to be a real all-star, you got to play some defense too. This is not nearly enough resistance. Yet again, you're not seeing double. This is just embarrassing. He's got to have a little more pride in playing defense. How about guarding him outside? Not much better. Still just bouncing off him. How about in the pick and roll? Nope. Still going to get a strong right-hand layup. How about guarding Kent Bazemore, a lefty? You could at least come in a little bit on the pick and roll. If you did that, at least then maybe you can cut off Kent Bazemore getting to his strong left hand on a catch and go right there. And then last but not least, Josh Hart had a rough day too. Watch how many times he's going to end up tripping and falling, first of all. Second of all, this is stack or Spain pick and roll, and it looks like Jackson Hayes switches onto the ball handler, which makes sense, but then leaving the ball doesn't really make any sense. Watch Josh Hart fall again, forcing two guys to come to the ball and JJ to go foul Holmes. How about one last time for good measure, as Josh Hart is going to fall again, giving Harrison Barnes another right-hand layup. Overall, embarrassing defensive performance by the Pelicans. Capable of much better than that, but they're going to be watching these games at home if they don't start. Certainly, if they don't start playing some defense. Thanks for watching. Make sure you thumb up, subscribe. A lot more coming soon. A lot over the last few days. Follow Scout with Bryan, Twitter, Instagram, the podcast, YouTube. Appreciate you checking it out.